Now, a lot's been happening since we saw you on Wednesday. There's a lot of news. So, hunker in there, buckle up, get ready, get your safety belt on, and get ready for some breaking news. The very first thing that I want to talk about is Tim Burton for a second, because Tim Burton came forward and said he does not want a sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, this was one thing we talked about not too long ago, where the director actually came forward, and he was like, Henry Selick was like, I want to do the sequel. I got an idea. We can go and find out about how Jack became the Pumpkin King. But Tim Burton said, there's no way. He goes, I am not interested. I am not. He goes, I don't want to be this guy, but I am like the old guy that's like hunkered down on his big farm, and a power plant's coming in and take him out and take over his land. He's like, I will not do that. I will hunker down and say no forever, because I do not want to do a sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas, which you got to give the guy props for just being like so true to his own story. But the director wants to do it. He hasn't got a lot of praise. And Tim Burton's like, I won't do it. And I've done sequels before, but I don't want to do a sequel to this. But he is doing a sequel to Beetlejuice, as we talked about before. And Beetlejuice has finished filming. Now, they only had a day and a half before the strike went down, and then they had to shut down. So they had a day and a half left, and then they're like, well, shit, we gotta build these sets again, bring it all back, make it happen. It's crazy how that goes down. But to me, I'm like, that's kind of how the business works. If you have a strike, things shut down, but he doesn't want to do Nightmare Before Christmas, but he does want to do Beetlejuice, and good for him. So you're getting more Beetlejuice, but you're not getting any more of, well, according to Bradley Cooper, Hangover, because he was been talking about The Master. He's been doing all these interviews for that, and they asked him, like, what do you think about doing another Hangover? He did 3, let's do a 4th one. He said, I love to do it. I love everybody involved with this, but personally, I don't think that Todd Phillips will do it, because he's also doing the Joker right now, and he's been really busy with that. We haven't talked about it all. I love all those people. I do it, any kind of beat of the heart, but I will not be happening, most likely because Todd will not want to do it, and nobody's talking about it, so it's probably not happening. But people are talking about Spider-Man 4, and Spider-Man 4, Tom Holland came forward, and I saw this little interview he was doing about Spider-Man 4, and he was like, all I can say is that we've had actively engaging in conversations about what could potentially be the next Spider-Man 4 movie. But to me, it's like, you're saying that, but Amy Pascal, your boss, already said that we're doing Spider-Man 4. It's Tom Holland's back, Zendaya's back, John Watts is back. So it's like, what he's saying here is kind of contradictory to what Amy Pascal already said. Now, he has leaked a lot of stuff in the past when he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have said some things about, Spider-Man, what's happening. So he's spoiled. So maybe he's just trying to be very protective. But he said that he wouldn't do a 4th one unless it's very right for the character, because he's very protective of Spider-Man. But on the flip side, he said that, he didn't make his career, so why would he not put the tights back on? I mean, Spider-Man, like, the last one was so good, like No Way Home, and it made big money for Marvel, so of course they want to do more. But they don't want to do any more than Marvels, I don't think, because the Marvels did not do well. And Bob Iger came forward, he didn't? He blamed COVID, everybody. He blamed COVID for the Marvels failing. He said, well, we had the COVID protocols, and the supervisors and the executives couldn't be there to actually talk to the creators during the process, so that's why the Marvels bombed. I'm like, you can't blame COVID. Like, you definitely go through this. Kevin Feige goes through this. Everybody goes through this process looking at this material before they actually release it. You just reshoots on this. So him blaming COVID, I think, is just shenanigans. It didn't do well. I think that's what his problem was. It's probably gonna be the lowest grossing MCU movie ever. Right now, it made $77 million domestically, 187 globally. Overall, it's a $250 million budget plus marketing, so it's gonna be a big loss. And it sucks, because it's just like they're trying to do something different and give the fans some good service, and it just didn't go well. So people don't like it. People didn't see it. Also, they had a marketing problem because actors were striking, but unfortunately, the Marvels is going the wayside. Not a big win for Marvel, but a big win for Eli Roth. Is Thanksgiving 2 is coming. That's right, Thanksgiving 2. If you saw the first one, I'm shocked that it's happening, but it's great for Eli Roth. They spent $15 million in this, and it made $30 million. So that's a huge win for the studio. And so it's like, let's make another one. Let's make another one. So they're moving forward with Thanksgiving 2. He had a little Instagram X post today where he said, yes, they called me up literally today. I'm going to take a year to write the script, make it perfect. I'm not going to say who's coming back, who's not coming back, but then we hope to have it out by November of 2025. So, it's awesome. It's a good Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving, horror Thanksgiving. Of course, you want to have it that time, and good for him. People are watching a lot. People watched a lot of it over Thanksgiving. People also watched with their friends a lot, because Friends did really well over Thanksgiving. Now, of course, we had the whole death that came down from all of this, and the problem is when you lose an actor because of a tragedy, people tend to watch that show even more. And that's just kind of what happened. And Matthew Perry's death was a huge tragedy. So then everyone started watching Friends, of course, reminiscence of his career, reminiscent of like everything that's happened in their past, their childhood, all of that. But it was Max's biggest ever airing of Friends. I mean, they had 860 million minutes watched during this Thanksgiving weekend. It's been the top 10 streaming of all streaming for the past 3 weeks. So it's been doing very well. And Matthew Perry, like, people definitely cared about him and loved him. And it shows in the numbers. It really does. And Matthew Perry, even though before he passed away, he said, if I died tomorrow, I would love to have a biopic done. And if I had a biopic done, who do I want to play it? Zac Efron should play me, he said. Now, if you saw, and Sabrina, you laugh, but if you saw 17 again, you would get this. Did you see 17 again, Sabrina?
No.
17 again.
That's
Oh, yeah.
Well, they had a great camaraderie during that. It was a movie where he becomes a 17-year-old again. And in that movie, the 17-year-old version is Zac Efron. So apparently during that whole process, they just became really good friends. He said it'd be an honor to actually play him in a biopic if it does move forward. And to me, it kind of makes sense, you know? Friends Nostalgia, right, Racer X, Friends Nostalgia. But it makes sense to me because you have that tie-in with that movie that came out. And that, I mean, to me, in 2009, it's been a little bit, but still people remember that. And Matthew Perry definitely did before he passed away. So there's a lot of logistics to work out, a lot of logistics. Yeah, it was pretty cool, Queen. It was actually all right. A lot of logistics. There's also a lot of logistics with this Hall & Oates lawsuit because there's more details coming forward about this. And apparently, Hall is really pissed at John Oates because he was trying to sell off pretty much half of their whole empire to a company that's been trying to buy their rights for 17 years. Now, this has been sealed for a long time, or 15 years, for a long time, though it's been sealed because they didn't want this getting out. Actually, Hall brought in a restraining order against Oates when he filed this lawsuit. And it became this whole process. They said they weren't going to give it out to the news, but now that it's moving forward, they actually said this was going on. Now, this company, it's called Primary Wave IP Investment. They wanted to buy the rights, and he was trying to sell it. And then Oates found out, and he said, hell no. Or Hall fell out. He said, hell no. And now he put this lawsuit forward, and it's going to go into some more lawsuits until February. At that point, they have to settle. Hopefully it works out. But again, Hall calls this the ultimate partnership betrayal, which kind of makes sense. You're selling to a company that you know has been searching for your rights for a long time. So it kind of sucks. Lawsuits are tough. Court is tough. Ask Jesse Smollett because he's back in the news, and he tried to appeal his court case. It didn't work out too well because he lost. He was like, this is wrong. You know, of course, this came forward, and, you know, where he was convicted in 2021 for what? Staging that whole thing back in 2019 where he had to try to cause a racist, homophobic attack against himself, and he lost. And so he appealed. People appeal all the time. It went down. They said, no way. He could serve up to 150 days in jail. He already served 6 before the appeal went through.
6 days?
6 days. That's all he served before the appeal came through. They took him out. And now 150 more he'll probably have to serve because of this. And his lawyer still says this day that he's the target of racist justice system and people playing politics. Kind of sounds like Jonathan Majors to me, because one more time we're talking about Jonathan Majors. We've been talking about him a lot, but Jonathan Majors, second day in court, and we got more information. They picked the jury, 3 men, 3 women, 2 alts out of 40 people, and you know, they're trying to figure out because a lot of these people heard about all this going down. They either saw the video of her out in the nightclub, or they heard the thing about testimony about the cab driver. All of them came forward, and some people stepped away because they could be biased because of all that. Now Jabari is going to testify again. He is still like up and down about this, but the judge said they're sealing the information from the UK. So there's another whole incident that went down in the UK with Jonathan Majors and Jabari with police report, hospitalization. It might be a trending factor, and they call it prior bad act witnesses. And the judge said, I'm not going to allow this to happen because this will actually taint the jury pool. So whatever that is, Harvey Weinstein did this before in New York, where they actually let that go through, where it was a past pattern. Let that happen. It will not happen in this case. So that's the thing. But honestly, I feel like everybody should have all the information. And if he does have a pattern, maybe you should get that out there. But I mean, it's a big win for Jonathan Majors' team. And we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. Monday, they're going to court. They're going to start. They did not do anything today. And Monday, they're going to start. They said 2 weeks probably. A lot of breaking news. We'll keep you posted on Jonathan Majors and everything else. But a lot of fucking breaking news, everybody.